And welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. We are talking about week 6 of the NFL season. We're also going to be previewing a little bit of Monday Night Football. That is the Bills getting ready to take on the Jets here. But let's start where week 6 took off, and that is going to be the 49ers versus the Seahawks. 49ers surprised me coming in, putting up 36 points on the road. They had been struggling. Deebo Samuels has a great game as well. Seattle, Geno Smith turned the football over a lot, and Seattle's got to get back to playing some good defense, only putting up 24 in this one, but got to give credit to the 49ers for taking care of business. 36 big points on the road against a division rival. Next up, the Bears. 35 points against Jacksonville here. Caleb Williams doing his thing out there. Look, 23 of 29, super efficient, 4 touchdowns, did have the INT, but Caleb Williams, probably one of his best games, I would say, since he has started, looking pretty good. And I think one of the keys for the Bears was that they were able to run the football effectively. DeAndre Swift, who I thought was going to be a huge addition to the Bears, had a good game, 17 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown for him. So I think that certainly helps unlock the Bears offense. And then, with Jacksonville, again, they can continue to struggle. Didn't look good at all. 1-5. If you were to tell me that the Jags were going to be 1-5, I would not believe you. They're not having a very good season at all. Next up, the Packers and the Cardinals. Jordan Love doing his thing. Welcome back. You see exactly why the Green Bay Packers were okay moving forward with Jordan Love. 22 of 32, 258, 4 touchdowns, did have an INT. But more importantly, I think you get a chance to see just how talented the wide receiving room is for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, Christian Watson had a good one. You had Jaden Reed had a good one as well. Romeo Doubs had a good one too. I mean, he's coming off the suspension, I guess, where he had missed practice. Wasn't very happy with his role, but anyway, came back. He had a pretty good one. So, a good one for Green Bay. They continue to roll. I think that their division is going to be super competitive, 4-2 at this point, looking pretty good. The Cardinals continue to struggle. Next up, the Titans and the Colts. What about Joe Flacco? Taking care of business, 2 touchdowns, did have an INT in this one, but the Colts take care of business 20-17. Josh Downs has a pretty good one, 7 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown there. The Titans continue to struggle with Will Levis. You saw that there was some frustration after that particular game. If you've been looking at the news here, Calvin Ridley sounds off, very unhappy with the amount of targets that he has been getting from Will Levis. Offense needs to get better, so that is going to be something to monitor for the Titans, but didn't look good there on Sunday. Next up, the Patriots. They started their new rookie quarterback in Drake May, and I must say he looked okay. I didn't have an issue with how he looked going against the Texans. You knew it was going to be a tough game. Look, he threw for 243 yards, which was more than Jaden Daniels. It was more than Caleb Williams. It was more than Bo Nix, and he also had 3 touchdowns. Now, he did have 2 picks in this one as well. But I think that there is a lot of upside with Drake May, and I kind of like what he did on the ground too as well. 5 carries, 38 yards, and the team is only going to get better, hopefully. And so you're hoping that Drake May can be that guy that can be a franchise quarterback for him. I thought that he definitely showed that he can do some things on the field. It's a matter of, can the Patriots continue to build around him? The Texans continue to keep rolling. You see just how critical it was to go out there and get a player like Joe Mixon, who is coming back from the injury. 13 carries, 102 yards. He had a touchdown there. He was pretty big in the receiving game too. He got a touchdown there. And so, look, the Texans are going to be pretty good. We already know that on offense. The question is, can they continue to stop people on the defensive end? They are picking right back up where they left off last season. Buccaneers and Saints, this was an absolute wild one if you watched it. I mean, this quarter by the Saints, where they essentially came back when it looked like the Bucs were going to blow them out, and they came back. They got into the game. At one point, they were leading this game, and then that's when the Buccaneers just took off. Baker Mayfield had another solid game out there. He had the 325 yards, the 4 touchdowns on this one. And, he also had a pretty good day running the football, too. So Baker Mayfield did throw 3 INTs. One of them bounced off the foot of one of his wide receivers. But anyhow, the Bucs take care of business. They are 4-2. The Saints fall to 2-4. Not some good news now that they have Derek Carr, who has a torn oblique, and he's going to be out for quite some time. So can the Saints hold on? Eagles and Browns. Look, the Eagles get the win in this one, but neither team necessarily looked that good. The Browns continue to struggle, and those questions around Deshaun Watson and should he start, that's going to continue there. And then with the Eagles, look, they got off to a slow start. They finally got things going. You got A.J. Brown going. You got Devontae Smith going. But again, this team should be a lot better off offensively. They shouldn't be getting off to these slow starts. At this point, they're 3-2. They take care of business. They do lose their tight end, who looks like he went down to a hamstring injury. So that's going to be tough for the Eagles. But they get out of this one at home, 20-16. I'd say the game of the day, the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders. This was a pretty good football game. And I think that even with the Commanders losing, the rest of the league certainly is going to start to respect the Washington Commanders. They were right there in this particular football game. They needed to get a stop at the end to perhaps give Jaden Daniels just one more opportunity. The Ravens did block a field goal in this one, but Derrick Henry comes back 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, 24 carries on the day. And he is quietly leading the NFL in rushing. So Derrick Henry coming back from that down year with the Titans, he's getting it done. Zay Flowers, heck, he had 100 yards in the first half. Quite a day, 9 receptions, 132 yards. Lamar Jackson just doing Lamar Jackson type of stuff, 323 yards, touchdown on the day, 20 of 26. As far as passing is concerned. Next up, the Chargers take care of the Broncos. You get Justin Herbert back. He's looking pretty good, 237 on the day and a touchdown. This team looks for sure a lot more disciplined than they have in the past. I think that that's what you get with Coach Harbaugh. 23-16, taking care of business on the road. A tough defense with the Broncos, taking care of Bo Nix out there. So give the Chargers credit coming back and getting the dub here. Steelers get it done, 32-13 against the Raiders. There was a lot of questions coming into this one, as if, the questions were in going into this one, do you go ahead and do you change out Justin Fields for Russell Wilson? And, clearly Coach Tomlin wants to go with Justin Fields, and Justin Fields did his thing. 145 yards, I get it, through the air, but he got 2 touchdowns on the ground, which is something that we know that Justin Fields can do. The question for him is just, can he unlock this offense, just getting the ball down the field with his arm? And so that's going to be the question, but the Steelers feel like that he still is going to give them the best chance to win. George Pickens coming down with 3 receptions, 53 yards. I think he's going to be the key for this passing attack. But again, Pittsburgh's defense is good enough. Can you continue to get points like this? If they can, then the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be tough. And the Raiders just look like they have a mess over here. Next up, the Lions just rout the Cowboys 47-9. This was a pretty terrible showing for the Cowboys going into the bye week. This was a tough one for the Lions. I think that, everything was going very well for them, but then when they lose, Hutchinson carted off. It looks like he broke his tibia. Very gruesome injury there in the third quarter, but everything else went very well for the Lions. They come in and take care of business 47-9, 4-1 in this division, but that is going to be a very, very competitive division. Next up, the Falcons take care of the Panthers 38-20. Kirk Cousins keeping it rolling. And you knew that they were going to be good with Kirk Cousins. I just wonder with them, defensively, are they going to get enough stops in this particular division, and just in general with the rest of the games that they have left on the schedule? But if the Saints can get healthy, they can get Derek Carr back, I think that it's going to get a bit more interesting between the 3 teams. But definitely the Bucs are right there. The Falcons, I'm going to have to say, if they continue to get this type of play on the offensive end, are going to be right there. But I think between those three teams in that division, I would probably have to tip my cap to the Buccaneers because they have a better defense, and I trust Coach Todd Bowles and that defense. And so, lastly, the Bengals and the Giants. Man, this was an ugly football game. And it is interesting when you have Joe Burrow out here scrambling for a 47-yard touchdown. He did throw for 208 yards. This offense had been pretty hot, only putting up 17 points against the Giants, but they get it done. And, the Bengals, I know they started off slow, but I don't know if you want to see the Bengals and Joe Burrow late when it comes down to trying to get into the playoffs, or if they do get into the playoffs. You do not want to see Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because I believe in Joe Burrow and I believe that he can get it done, especially when they made that Super Bowl run. Joe Burrow is that guy, man, that can definitely get the Bengals together. The Giants, again, continue to struggle. They're going to continue to have those questions at quarterback with Daniel Jones. And, again, there's so many things that the Giants are going to have to fix, and I think it does start with the quarterback play, but we'll see how the rest of the season continues on. And then now we go to Monday night, and just the predictions for this one. Buffalo Bills heading to the Jets at home. They just went ahead and fired their coach, the Jets. And, I like the Jets, and I like them in this division. They have not looked good, and if you would have told me that they were going to struggle to score points with Aaron Rodgers like this, I would not believe it. They haven't been able to unlock Breece Hall like I thought they would. And, the Bills, they're coming in, even though they've lost a couple games, the Bills have surprised me, especially after losing so many players at the wide receiver position. They lost a lot of players on the defensive end as well. But, you just get a chance to see just how good Josh Allen is. And look, we're going to find out just again how good Josh Allen is going against this tough Jets defense. I like the Bills, man. I like the Bills because they have a ton of momentum going into this one. The Jets are still trying to figure it out. It's a mess. They went ahead and changed the play caller as well. And I just don't know if that's going to be enough of a spark for the Jets to win against the Bills. I think this is going to be a tight football game. I like this one to be something along the lines of maybe a 20-16 type of game. I like the Bills to pull this one out. So let me know in the comments what you were thinking about this wild week 6 in the NFL. What were some of the top headlines for you? This is Rico. This is Real Talk Sports. You can find us on Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube as well. And I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.